In a world where our friends call us not us united and our enemies call us midnight rain, two dudes must learn to podcast as the Fremen do in order to survive the desert planet of endless content. We don't care how many enemies we have. They'll never be prepared for us. Not us united.
Favorite shows. I really like a show. I think we've talked about Erased before.
Yes.
Love that show.
Super clutch. Yeah. 12 episodes.
Super clean, easy. I've recommended that to Nick quite a few times.
And he hasn't watched it yet.
I
remember.
You gotta get on that one.
That
It's such a good one.
That I love. And then the volleyball one, the IQ.
I gotta start that.
It's so
I
good,
gotta
dude.
start it.
It's so like simple and kind of dumb, but I love it.
I've heard good things.
But you don't like Power Rangers.
Okay, it's so much better. It's so much better than Power Rangers, I'll tell you what.
It's literally the same thing.
No, there's a volleyball.
Describe the plot of
He said, no,
volleyball.
there's a volleyball.
This is a volleyball.
There's a volleyball, yes. See. So it's just a high school volleyball team, and it's them trying to win volleyball tournaments.
Teenagers with attitude.
Teenagers with attitude.
It's
Dang.
Always
Same
good.
thing.
Yeah, Power Rangers.
Go Haikyuu.
It's the same thing.
Man,
You're insane.
I am, but not as insane as this episode of the podcast will be.
That's true.
Because with us once again is friend of the show.
Wow, what a lead. All right, we're
That's
doing
a
this.
good segue.
What are we gonna do?
we're-
We're just gonna stop.
That's a good
If we
segue.
don't start the episode,
We need to
we're
stop
just-
being so surprised when
I
we're
start the-
awesome.
It was just so clean.
Yeah, and then it got ruined.
You were awesome. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm
Go ahead.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is back.
You do be back. Would you like to introduce yourself once again to the podcast fans?
Friend of the show and friends of these guys. I'm Andrew, and I'm back.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Definitely getting your reps in because this
Yeah,
is
no
like
doubt.
your fourth episode with us.
Third
episode?
Yeah,
Okay.
We did
Third.
the
We did
fan
Black-
casting.
Yeah.
We did Black Panther, and then I'm back for the Power
That's
Rangers.
right. And we kind of teased Power Rangers a long time ago
Yeah.
because there was, I don't remember if it was fan casting maybe.
Mm-hmm,
We were kind of
Looking at
either beforehand, we had talked about like one of the comics I had with Power Rangers, but we had heard like 6 months ago that, hey, Power Rangers turning 30. Netflix is like, hey, we've got money still, maybe. So why not scrap together a 30th anniversary special, Power Rangers,
Yeah.
once and always.
Yeah. That's, I think, the title.
Right?
I think that's the title.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I get Forever and Always mixed up because that's a Taylor Swift
Forever
thing.
and always. Yeah, O&A. We'll just
Yeah,
call it O&A.
O&A, yeah.
Once and always.
There have been a lot of so Power Rangers is just crazy because you're either drinking the Kool-Aid, and have been for years.
Go.
You saw it that one time and your mom bought you that one toy and then you never did whatever. Or you missed the like 91 or like 90, what was it? 93, I guess, when it
93 is
started.
yeah,
So
about
93 to like 96, if you like just didn't see it, then you just didn't watch Power Rangers, it feels
Yeah.
like. Or you jumped in like 10
Late.
years later
Mm-hmm.
when the next generation jumped in. So
So when we hear about the news a few months ago and we do that episode, yeah, we kind of like called our shot with you, Andrew, and we're like, we got to get you back
that.
on.
Super meta.
yes,
I see.
that's right.
Splash
Like,
Brothers.
We're getting you on back for this.
We were drinking the
Thing.
Kool-Aid on
This
this show,
thing, yeah.
too.
Are there going to be a lot of people tuning in because they're like, man, they've got to do this 30th anniversary episode? I don't know.
I know two people who will, and that's who are sitting next to me right now. So,
Here's what I will say though. I think everyone that listens to us will listen to this episode.
yes, because no one's
Because
gonna watch
it doesn't
this.
matter if there's spoilers or not. They just want to know what our thoughts are.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So maybe we don't even do too much of a spoiler-free thing, and we get into this
Just
thing.
Yeah.
go for it. Do it live.
So my question for you guys is: here's my segue.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's amazing. That's
Would
an
you
amazing
guys
segue.
say that Power Rangers once and always is go-go
Ooh.
or no?
Bars. Give this man a raise.
Nick, you're being raised from $0 to
Let me cook.
$0.
Let that man
Let him
cook.
cook.
Let that man cook. All the spices.
The spice must flow.
Listen, it's no Dune. This is no Dune.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm gonna defer all thoughts and opinions till the end.
Do you want to? Okay, fair enough.
Why don't you guys?
Yeah,
say your-
let's let this thing fly a little bit before Michael just brings us back
And then I
to
also kind
reality.
of want to go through like your guys' history of Power Rangers, like
Yeah,
how'd you get
100%.
into it?
Yeah, this is Let's get into the subject and then let's talk about why Power Rangers
Go
is
or
still
no
dope.
no. Yeah,
Yes.
Little suspense going on.
yeah, I like that.
So gut reaction, how are you feeling after consuming Once and Always twice?
Yeah, I did watch
Twice?
it twice. Yeah.
Wow.
I had,
Extra preparation.
Had a little bit of time.
Seconds.
It's only like 50 minutes, so
Might as well.
watched it. It was honestly better the second time,
Hey.
and maybe it was because I already knew what to expect.
Sure.
I will start off by saying, for me, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna give it a go. The first time it was probably a no.
Whoa!
So
it went from no to go.
they got me to switch up a little bit.
Okay.
I saw the error of my ways.
Fair enough.
It was bad, but in the best way.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
going back to watch Power Rangers as an adult, I've gone back and watched a couple episodes and things like that, and it is garbage.
Yeah, 100%.
And as a kid, I thought this was real life. I had friends that thought that you could apply to be a Power Ranger, like it was a job application, like that type, right?
If only.
I think part of the reason that I played sports and played football was because it was like the closest thing that you could get to having like a Power Ranger suit, like that helmet.
Nice.
That's
Go linebacker.
There you go. That's exactly what it looked like.
It's Morphin time.
Oh, you get yourself the visor and things like
That's right.
that,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Call your Dragon Zord, whatever it is. The movie was like they ended up making a 2023 version of a regular episode from 1993 of Power Rangers. So if that means anything to you, then
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And what it should be.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah,
yeah,
like,
like imagine
it's
if they
made-
got super serious about
Yeah.
all the things that happened in it.
It's
right?
honestly made perfectly. Like
Yeah,
for
you're
what
right.
it is,
yeah.
that's exactly it.
That's
it's
what it's
exact
supposed to be.
and it should be nothing else.
That's
No
how
matter
it's
how I'm
supposed to
rating
be.
this movie,
Yeah.
it should not have been anything else.
Yeah, no,
like
it's
so
true.
props to it for being exactly as it should
Yeah.
be.
No surprises, just nostalgia. And so I was with that for somebody who likes nostalgia. I was a fan of that. There were, of course, plenty of cringy moments, but there were probably cringy moments when I was like 4 years old watching
Sure.
this
Yeah.
and didn't realize it
Yeah.
as well. So
So you're saying this, you were no at first,
I was no at first,
but now you go.
and now I'm go.
What was the change? What was the flow from no to go?
I think it was just realizing that it was bad.
Just accepting it's bad makes it go.
I don't know what I expected the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I was really happy to see, the 50 and 45-year-old versions of like
Sure.
my heroes as a kid. And then realizing how bad it was after the first time, I said, you know what, let me watch this again without any expectation
Yeah.
or anything like that. And it was Power Rangers.
Yeah.
100%. There's two avenues this could have gone. They could have made this for, which I think is what Jason David Frank's movie is going to be. He's coming out with like the Legend of the White Dragon, which is like, what if Power Rangers was R-rated
Whoa.
and it's not technically Power Rangers, but it's definitely Power Rangers.
Who is this guy?
That's the guy who played Tommy, who died last.
Oh, okay.
uh,
But he made a movie.
He's yeah. So post his death, there was still a movie that was filmed. He like kickstarted and all this stuff. It's gonna be like the violent adult version of Power Rangers.
Which is crazy to think about, though, because he was still alive when they shot this movie.
That's right.
And turned it down.
Yes.
And I don't know if the timelines
That's weird,
ended up matching
yeah.
up, but chose not to do this goofy version of Power Rangers.
Yes.
And instead did a very
this.
serious or seemingly serious
Yeah.
version.
There's also a couple other Rangers that like, due to either like what they were offered or whatnot, there's like some weird drama, and so the cast that we ended up getting was also like not.
Okay, I kind of want
what
to
it was supposed to be.
Can we talk about some of that? All right. So,
For sure,
one, the original. So, do you know like the how the hierarchy of Power Rangers goes?
Yeah, I'm gonna say pretend that I know.
I'm gonna treat this like-
But why don't you explain it
Absolutely.
for those that
Yes,
are
yes.
listening?
Yeah, of course. So in Power Rangers,
Mighty Morphin.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
That's the
and-
OG.
originals, yes.
Absolutely, right? they have a leader, right? They have like a big boss who they end up talking to, right? The Zordon in a tube, right?
Yeah.
He's the one that gave them their powers to fight evil. They have some like subordinates or some helpers, right? That's the big robot that you saw,
Cool.
Alpha. But then on the team itself, there's a hierarchy there. And so if I were to say how it went, I would say it goes, these are just the original 5. I would say it would go Red Ranger as the leader, and then pretty much everybody else is like a subordinate.
Got it.
With Power Rangers and how it continued to go on, they got a couple extra Rangers, or one guy who became a couple extra Rangers, and he kind of superseded everybody else and turned into the leader over there. So the original Red Ranger, so now this takes us back to like why some people aren't in this. The original Red Ranger, has anybody heard about why he's not in there or what's happened with him recently?
No.
So that dude, this is like, after COVID and whatnot, that dude got locked down for like PPP fraud. No lie. No lie. So he lives down, his name is Austin St. John. He was Jason, the original Ranger. So they reference him in this one. In the movie, they kind of turn him into like
a little
action
figure.
figures.
Yeah.
And so he's the original red one. So you never see him like take off his helmet.
He's
or
like
anything
already
like that.
shrunk.
Yeah. And so that dude is like in Austin, Texas right now and can't leave the state unless it's for work. The original pink one, who also got shrunk down, I think, she was like everybody's childhood crush, right? Kimberly. And I think she just wasn't getting paid enough or just said no, something like that. So it would have been great if we saw all the original Power Rangers who were in there. The 2 who we saw who were from the original team were the black and the blue one.
Okay.
So they
So
were
Billy
they
and
were kinda
Zach,
like the
the
main
main
guys.
characters.
Okay.
for sure. Yeah. So those guys were, which is funnily enough, both mine and Nick's favorite, respectively.
Nice.
So
All right.
so it worked out really nicely.
And to be completely fair, if Tommy or Jason or Kimberly were even in the show, Billy and Zach probably wouldn't have even had the roles that
Sure.
we had
Really?
in the show.
So
I
they're
think
not
that's fair to
supposed
say.
They're not supposed to be this important.
No,
I guess?
and it's really cool that they actually are, because like I think those are the 2 that would care about this happening. They wouldn't care too much about like Ranger stuff. Like we have to do the Ranger thing, all this. That's all the like the leader stuff. I feel like Billy and Zach, I think, are just like the down to earth, like we care about people too.
I could feel that.
So I think it actually works for the story to be told this way. It's just weird because there's the iconic, like Green Ranger Tommy and stuff like that, who could always like battle everything. And so it was just weird to like not only
you had to like silence.
and Jason David Frank has like not shied away from like any Power Ranger cameo ever. Like
Showed
has
up
been
on
in like
everything.
6 seasons, has been 5 different Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be more than
You
that.
know him from Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
He's the Black
Yeah,
Ranger
I
in that
know,
one. Yeah. So it was just weird. And then on top of that, outside of their control, he's now not with us anymore.
Yeah.
And so now the story
feels
feels weird
weird.
because it's about the death of someone that is totally valid and whatever. Like that's the way the story should be. But there's just this like weird cultural thing that's happening in the pop, like in this pop culture IP that just feels weird, where it's like Tommy's like not in it, he's not here
he's a
with us
little
anymore,
figure in it.
and they
It's
like just have to mention it at the end because of how they
Batteries not
filmed it.
included.
Yeah, batteries not included. So anyway,
Uh,
I think there's just a lot of weird things about this special that like it was already
Yeah.
kind of doomed from the get-go.
okay.
But with what they have, and if you know kind of the lay of the land, then you can kind of see it through at least a lens that's like, hey, with what they had, I think
Because there was another
it can be go-go.
Pink and Red Ranger. That was from a different series.
So they came in other. So they were kind of some of the replacements from the
Yes.
very first one. So Nick and I kind of talked about this earlier on, but in the very first, so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had 3 different seasons.
Got it.
And in the original season, they had Jason, who's locked down right now for PPP. They had Zach, who we saw, Billy, who we saw, Kimberly, everybody's crush, who decided not to do it, Tommy came in as well, and then they had Trini, the one who ended up dying in the movie, like as soon as it started. And so 3 of those 6 in the very first season got cut from the show. Apparently, they wanted more money. Who was it? ABC or Saban or whoever it is just said, hey, you know what? Forget it. We'll replace you guys. They wrote them out of the story. And then we saw Rocky, the red one, come on. We saw, and so he took over for the current Red Ranger. We saw Aisha, who was in space with Adam.
Okay.
So she took over for the yellow one. And then we saw, who am I missing?
Kimberly was still in it. This girl ended up being the Pink
Yes.
Ranger for like Turbo.
Did she come on? So Kimberly, was she in it all 3 seasons?
Kimberly, I think, was in it the whole time.
So I remember when she got written off, though, because she took over for a little bit because Kat, I think, was, this sounds crazy.
Yeah, we are all following
Dude,
along.
drama,
We
baby.
are
This is-
all
this is
following
crazy.
along.
We
here.
got all the tea.
So Kimberly, right? We all
Piping.
loved her. Everybody's first crush, right? She did gymnastics on the show, right? She was
Yep.
like flipping, like hurt her ankle or
Uh-huh.
something like that.
Oh,
Wasn't
yeah.
able to do like Ranger stuff.
Oh, wait,
and
yeah,
then
okay.
got
got, like,
replaced. But Kat was also kind of bad at the beginning too. I don't know if I'm making this up in my head, if this is headcanon or not. But like, didn't she like shapeshift as like low-key a cat at the beginning or something like that?
Whoa.
I might be lying. I
There's
have to go
definitely
back.
shape-shifting people that exist
I don't remember
in
if
the
this
Power
is the case
Rangers
or not.
universe. I should finish that sentence.
I just remember not really liking her because she ended up replacing, the
Yeah, yeah,
original
yeah.
one who
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
liked. So
And
a
you
lot
were
of
in
people
love
got
with her.
replaced.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course. Right. Who wasn't?
Yeah.
Everyone's traveled across the Rangers.
Shut up.
So like, okay, side question. You said she got hurt when she was doing all the gymnastic stuff. So like, were they like actually in their costumes doing it? Not this movie, but like beforehand,
Some of them were. I mean, a
bet
lot of
some,
them are
yeah.
like
gymnastic, kind of.
actual like
martial
athletes
artists
and martial
things like
artists.
that,
Yeah.
This was just for the purposes of the show because I remember she was on like a balance beam or whatever and ended up getting hurt. It was like an ankle issue or something like that, and then ended up, I guess maybe being out for a couple episodes or something
Yeah.
like that. I have no idea.
They do eventually pass the like torch on though. Like
For sure.
for a few seasons, there is like there's no more Mighty Morphin. Next season, tune into Zeo Rangers. Here's your new power. She was the Zeo
Yes.
Pink Ranger.
So I think that was when
Yeah.
she was like officially one.
Yeah.
I know at one point she still was like a Mighty Morphin one.
Yeah.
And that's only because she wasn't in the movie, but she came in afterwards. So the Ivan Ooze movie, which is crazy. I know you're looking at me crazy right now.
Dude,
I'll bring
you'd
that
love
up
the
later
Ivan
on.
Ooze movie.
One of the hardest
I don't know what's
scenes
going on, man.
at the beginning of any movie I've ever watched. They have all the Power Rangers, and these are like normal kids, right? So I have no idea why like 16 and 17-year-olds are like skydiving
Dude,
and who
doesn't
signed their
matter.
permission slips.
Doesn't matter.
But it was the hardest scene
God,
that
it's
I've ever seen
hype.
in a movie. They're all skydiving. They always wear like the color that they were
Of
wearing,
course,
right?
yeah.
So right now you would be the Red Ranger.
Heck yeah,
There's a discrepancy between
I
you
don't know
guys.
what I'd
You're
be.
the
I don't know.
I would be the slightly
Red or
clay colored,
there you go.
the Platinum Ranger.
There you go. And there was always like a really cool like weird ranger, right? Like the White Ranger came on and they
Yep.
kind of do their own thing and they get their own like Zord and stuff like that. But with them, they're at the beginning of this movie, they're playing like rock and roll and stuff like that. They're all diving out like single file. The camera's following them and stuff like that. Whoever shot this thing was like, give them
10
a
out of
raise.
10. 10 out of 10.
And then you see our boy Tommy come down, and this dude is on like he's skydiving, but he has like a snowboard strapped to his feet, right?
Yeah.
Hard, super hard. They
Yeah.
all end up landing. The rest of the movie goes on. They fight some.
It's all downhill from there.
some peons and stuff like that. The hardest opening scene that the actual movie was like really, really good though. We
Oh,
gotta
okay.
get
For
you
real.
to watch that.
Yeah.
like compared. Just
Oh,
say
to this?
To this.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Ivan Ooze like sets the bar, bro.
I think it's
Okay,
on like
okay.
Inception level.
Wow.
It's on
I'm
like
gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
gonna hold you to
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Ivan
man.
Ooze, I
Yeah.
think, is
Hey.
the inception of the
they
Power
had like a
Rangers
spinning
universe.
top made out
You know
of
what?
ooze, and you don't know if it like falls over or not. Like it's that type of movie. It was
Damn.
great.
It's
They went like
excellent.
three Power Rangers level
Crazy.
deep.
Yeah,
like they
the-
got
the-
like a Zord inside of a Zord inside of a Zord
And
kind
then,
of thing.
and then the world starts like
Oh
shifting
my
and
gosh.
spinning, and
this is gonna
it's
be
upside
incredible. I'm gonna
down.
be very disappointed
It's
when none of this
nuts.
happens.
It's nuts.
Yeah, but the moral of every Power Ranger story is that like, the whole point of that movie was that like the parents wouldn't believe the kids, and so there's like this whole like hierarchy of like the parents got all brainwashed and the kids had to step up and save them.
Nice.
And it was just kind of a cool message to be like, hey, I know your kids like stupid, silly things, but maybe hear them out, because I know they like Power Rangers, but maybe there's other cool things that they like too. So it's like got a good message. Which brings me back to this movie. The other option they could have gone with was this option, which was just play it incredibly family friendly, safe, and just do an extended episode of Power Rangers. And this one probably tackles at least a topic
like grief
of
and loss
grief
like,
and loss.
They say like this person died.
Yes.
Which they have never done before, right?
Yeah.
Power Rangers just like straight up does not do that.
They like retire or whatever, but like you just
A Power Ranger doesn't die.
They murdered multiple people in this movie.
yeah.
Putties died. Like that never happens.
They
Like
scrapped.
they hit a
Really?
putty one time and they kind of like fall down. They made them. Like,
Or they'll
they
like
made,
they'll if you hit them in the chest, they like get dismembered or whatever.
These putties operated like the ones from the 2010-ish to whatever movie that they did, where they like completely fall into rocks and things like that. Did
Oh
anybody
yeah,
watch
the
that?
2017, the one
17?
that they just made.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Those putties are like the rocks and
Got
stuff.
it.
Like these are supposed to be
But
the
like,
same
there's
thing.
a scene where like they just straight up stab Robot Repulsor, and I'm like,
Yes.
all right, this is a different.
Stuff
Power
that
like
was-
that would never happen.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was great.
They were very creative with how they did it, and some of it I think hinders our storytelling, love for it, because like they had to explain why this person could be a Pink Ranger. Well, Alpha figured out how to do like a synthetic morphing coin.
Here's a coin.
Because technically, once you have it, it's like you're the Pink Ranger, bro. Like no one else can be that. And that was why the Yellow Ranger is
Couldn't
like when
be.
she passed, it was like, okay, somebody could fill her role, but we just have no idea. It has to be passed
You have to,
on,
like,
you know.
earn it,
And so there was a few little like tweaks where it's like, storytelling wise, you just kind of had to be like, all right, I have to remember that this is Power Rangers and it doesn't matter
Yeah.
and it's fine. Like if we could get Rocky and Kat to show up, why couldn't we just get a Yellow Ranger to show up too? Like stuff like that. You just kind of had to be like, remember the story
We're
is
accepting this.
we're getting through grief, and Billy and Zach at the heart of it were just like, they had to also be okay with like letting someone enter into danger if it meant that, it would cost them. It's like, you can't save everyone, so let people fight for what they believe in.
Which is crazy to me because there was a lot of kind of like sheltering and cuddling and stuff like that of this kid. But she's probably the same age that they were when they were doing this.
Right. It's a classic, like once you become a parent, you kind of do the same thing that your parent would have done.
I caught a bunch of I don't know if anybody else got this, but I caught a bunch of Mufasa vibes from Walter Jones, right, from Zach, like down to like crazy like one for one lines where he said like, hey, you deliberately disobeyed me, right? Like that's straight from Lion King. The kind of like don't go looking for trouble type stuff. And then this is the one that got me though, that I don't necessarily agree with, where he's like, hey, like what you're looking for right now is revenge, right? But what you should be trying to do is, like the greater good type stuff. And I'm just thinking this whole time, like, this is a robot, right? Like, kill her.
Who cares? Yeah.
Take her out.
That didn't help. Like, I think probably because the lady who played Rita Repulsa, like, just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
So they had to do, like, the Robo Rita or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's just, like, some of those things just made it hard, to, like, follow. And it's like, hey, you've always, like, exploded the bad guys. Who gives a crap why, like, this is revenge, some of that stuff. But I almost would rather them, like what Michael said, it's like, this is probably the best story and like handling of it that they could have done to make it just truly Power Rangers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? As much as we would love like a John Wick, like R-rated, like let's see it happen. I think we can get that sometime. But like, if we're celebrating 30 years of Power Rangers, maybe the thing to do is like just stay true to Power Rangers.
I don't know if I would have necessarily wanted it, but I wanted that to be an option. I kind of wanted her to be able to morph and, maybe go get beat up or something like that and then have to go,
Yeah, it would be
load up or
nice if
something.
they would bump it up a little bit, but I do feel like this was still geared towards like, hey, you watched this last episode, kids, you can watch this episode.
sure,
Like,
yeah.
it's not meant to be like for us.
Yeah.
It's for everyone, It's kind of like Star Wars, where it's like eventually you have to be okay with like it's still being made for kids.
Right.
you know?
So going to why she couldn't morph, I had to go back and think about some of the rules. So right, you remember when I was talking about the big boss? So the big boss dude had like 3 rules for him, and one of them is like you can never escalate a fight, right?
Classic.
And so when I was a kid, I used to be like, Power Rangers has the same tropes in every single episode, right? Like you can count on it. And so what's gonna happen is they're at school, there's some trouble, right? They end up going out there. There's like a figurehead monster, a little guy, and then you'll end up seeing like some peons, like the putties, right? They end up fighting the putties in their human form, start getting beat up just a little bit by like the big monsters.
Okay, it's morphin' time.
Exactly, right? Then after they morph, right, they might still get beat up a little bit. They pull out their tools, they pull out their guns, their swords, their whatever, their little weapons. Might end up being able to defeat them. Sometimes they'll put all their weapons together and create like a giant cannon. It's nuts. It's crazy.
That is pretty dope.
And then they end up blowing up this monster. It's a good way to sell toys. They end up blowing up this monster. They think that everything's sweet. They think everything is good. And then Rita comes through and she makes that monster grow, right? It's a whole thing, right?
It goes like kaiju level or whatever.
Exactly, right? So now this thing is destroying cities. And so then that's the only time where you can end up calling in their Zords, right?
Megazord.
And then so what they'll do is they'll have like individual Zords kind of fight, and it's the same thing again, right? They don't have enough power, so man, we got to make our powers combine, like Captain Planet style. And so then they get those guys, right? And then finally they can end up defeating them. But me as like a 5-year-old, right? I'm thinking, know what? Like, just call the Zord and stomp on that dude, and then it's over with. But they kind of got to follow rules, so I get why she wasn't able to like power up at the beginning and stuff like that too. So that was a good way for them to kind of like clean it up just a little bit. Be like, hey, you know what? Don't go looking for revenge.
Yes. My review would still be that it's, it's still a no for your boy. But what I will say is that, like, I'm glad that Billy got a lot of screen time. Billy's my favorite. Fun fact, his namesake is...
Billy Cranston, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
From...
Bryan Cranston.
And so that's kind of a cool, like, little lore beat. And then he ends up playing Zordon in 2017's Power Rangers. So it's kind of full circle. Anyway... yes, I know what I just said was that it pretty much did what it was supposed to do.
That's for me.
And I don't know if it's just... I don't know, man. Like, I feel like maybe when I was a kid, this acting was like better or something, but it just kind of felt a little flat. Maybe it's because it wasn't 20 minutes.
No, I mean, forget the time. It was flat. I fully agree with you on that.
What are you talking about?
But I feel like, okay, so here are some points where I disagree, right? Billy was not my favorite, so I don't have that.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, get it. Yeah.
He was not my favorite, so I don't have any.
Sure.
I don't feel like I need to like save him or anything like that.
Yeah.
He was the worst actor in this movie.
Oh, hands down. Hands down. He was so bad.
He was the worst.
Triceratops.
Yeah.
There's like
that's what he always says.
No, but like I know. Hold on. There's like a whole pause, and he's like,
Triceratops.
There's like Triceratops, and then there's Triceratops with feeling, and he didn't get the feeling.
I get
right?
you.
He had no feeling.
Okay.
In a movie with no bad
man,
actors,
David
he was
Yost.
the worst.
I'm
I'm sorry, dude.
It was crazy. I'm glad that we could talk, that we can speak freely right now.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
It was some days of our lives acting.
So there were just some straight up like.
That's a compliment.
You said don't give him too much.
No, I'm with you. I get you.
I think the wildest thing that I heard Billy say in this is they were in the Megazord and he was like, "Come catch these hands."
Oh, that was so funny. Let him get these hands. See, there's stuff to like the Alpha
crazy.
Robot was like, "I feel the vibe.
I sense a vibe.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Sorry, Uncle Zach. Time flies when I'm getting my sweat on.
We're cool.
Okay, but
hello, fellow kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jeez. Catch these hands.
No, I'm with you.
Teenagers with attitude.
I think the other thing that this could have had for 30th anniversary, I think with the Netflix money that they had, they still could have gotten. I mean, think of all the cameos that would have even not cared to even get paid for.
Sure.
I thought
you could
that
have
we
had
were gonna get like so many Power
yeah, there
Rangers
should have
in
been
this.
because there've been season finales of like Super Ninja Steel whatever where they get like 100
A whole
Rangers
bunch
to
of
show
different
up.
teams. Yeah.
Now, granted, they're not all like they don't take their helmets off and it's the people, but it's like
You could like pay
you
them,
totally could have just had,
like the
especially if
lightning.
somebody's playing Tommy that isn't Tommy, you could have just had
It was
100 stand-ins.
it was right there for them, right?
Yeah.
Why not, even at the very least, have them become like more of the action figures or something like that? from
Sure.
All
Yeah.
of
Well,
the
they
other
kind
seasons.
of off-screen. He did technically kill like
A whole bunch of different ones. They were
Yeah,
like,
but they didn't show
soaking
them
up
yet.
their power and stuff like
Mhm.
that. It would have been cool if they like showed like even like an old clip or something like that where you can kind of be like, oh man, I remember this season,
Yeah,
or I
yeah.
remember this.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be more. It kind of felt like it is the 30th anniversary of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so it's
Sure,
more
yeah.
focused on that.
Fact.
Sure.
Because there was like the flashback at the end of like, oh, remember this show?
Mm-hmm.
No, but like,
Yeah,
if there's like, I saw like the little Dino Rangers guys, and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if like even just seeing them.
Yeah.
like that's the only show I know about.
And I get that it was trying to pay homage to like Mighty Morphin, but I think you still could have said like, hey, what if we needed to recruit everyone? I mean, they've already done like one of the most popular storylines is this like multiversal comic book that they've done where what if Tommy stayed bad and became like an overlord of the morphing grid and there's like Power Rangers from all these different universes that have to like come in and like
Dang.
fight and do like an Infinity War Power
That's
Ranger
kind of
style.
what I thought this was gonna be.
It didn't have to
but-
be like that specific, but it could have been like Billy could have totally just been like, "Hey, we got to recruit like lots of help. I need one ranger from like every season
Yeah.
of
Don't
Power
give him any more lines.
Okay, hold on.
You gotta take
No,
it
but I'm
away.
I
saying
need more
if you
people
get
to
if you
help
get
me
more
with
people,
this.
he doesn't have to carry the weight of the plot. You know, that's
I
all
have
I'm
to- I have to
saying.
get more people so I can talk less.
That's
Please.
what I think made it feel worse was that there was so much screen time for like two people, and the plot didn't need that much. We just needed, oh, Rita's back. Let's get 40 Rangers and let's just go kick ass for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You
I would
know?
have liked that. At the very least, I would have wanted to see. So the two who were in space, who were talking to him
Yeah.
on like the video calls, I would have
Yeah.
wanted to see them
Sure,
at least
they could've
power
come
up
back.
if they found some way to be able to do that. So that was the second Yellow Ranger, and that would have been a big deal. I know they had a couple lines where they're like, "Man, like I'm glad that you're keeping the legacy going and stuff like
Yeah.
that," because she got those powers directly from the girl's mom. So
Oh,
that could have
okay.
been like a
That's
bigger
cool.
moment. She's the one that passed down those powers, and then Adam got his powers from Zach, and
Got
so
it.
that would have been a good moment as well. But
'Cause at the end, they're like, "We're glad you came, but we already
y'all
figured
didn't
it
do
out."
anything. Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all later.
Yeah, thanks for the paycheck.
So Michael, bring us home. Like, just bring the heat. I mean, I
Gentlemen.
already kind of have a pretty good idea, but
Gentlemen,
It's a go. He's got a go. I know it.
I gotta go away from
I
this
feel
movie.
it.
I'll tell you. It is a big no from me. I'm sorry.
yeah,
It was
I-
terrible.
It was, and like, dude, I totally get it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And exactly what I said. Like, even as I was watching, like, this is exactly what it needs to be. It just is not for me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this movie was not made for me in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form.
It's trash.
It was the longest 55 minutes of my life. I'll tell you what.
I watched
like-
it twice.
It's just like I watched it just in multiple spurts. I was like, I was actually really excited for this because like you guys were like, maybe I just got hyped too much because I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so cool. Power Rangers is gonna be so stupid, and I'm gonna love it.
It was
It's-
very bad.
and I'm like, my boy Danny, that's his name, right? The blue guy,
No, Billy.
Billy.
yeah, that guy.
He killed it, and not in a good way.
Oh
He
boy.
killed my enthusiasm. I'm just kidding. Not to blame all one guy, but just like it was not good.
No, it's fine.
And I'm like, I don't have enough nostalgia for this. I don't have enough fandom to be like, oh, I love seeing Rita and like this idea back. I
yeah.
love like this is not made for me. I don't think
It just felt so
non-Power
half baked.
Rangers
Like
fans.
if like it had to be the 31st anniversary, but it got everybody, then I would have been fine. Like it was
Yeah.
almost like it felt like we only have 3 months to make
Yeah.
30th
Yeah.
anniversary. We don't have half the people, and
It
here
felt
you go.
like it kind of to compare it to Teen Wolf as well.
Oof.
I don't know why, but that comes to mind of like another cheesy
Did we have to? Yeah.
reunion kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Of like we're missing Dylan O'Brien.
Yep.
in this, but like this just felt like
Mm-hmm.
here's another reunion show that is apparently the new thing that's happening.
Yeah.
But it's still like I agree. I enjoy that they deal with grief. I think that was good.
Sure.
I liked
Yeah.
that. And
it did technically stay true to like Mighty Morphin.
yeah,
It was an honor to like, or it was like honorable to like Trini and like her
Yeah, that was
legacy.
super
That was
cool.
cool. But I do think some things outside of its control hurt it, and that's what's hard too. Is
Mhm.
like you don't want to rate something because you know more about it
Mhm.
than it knew at the time of
Right.
its filming. But it's just like
right.
I
But-
don't know.
But I just don't know what. For me, what else you could have done to get me on your side? Like I
There,
really
there are some redeeming qualities
Yeah.
from this movie that
Oh,
still
please,
make
yeah.
it at least a go.
Yeah.
Maybe not a go-go.
you get one go from me.
One go, right?
Fair.
I think I actually do think that Zach's acting made the whole thing for me.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
thought he was
believed all
actually
his
good.
scenes.
Yeah.
I think you actually made a really good point that I didn't even put together until right now. But those are the two who would have been most like emotionally invested in like the friendship. I think if you watch the
100
show,
yeah.
Not that anybody was like like they weren't friends or anything like that. But of those two, I think because they didn't always get the shine in the show, I think that like if one of them died. Zach would have been the one to go move in and go take care, become a guardian
100%
and stuff
sure.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So that was really cool. That dude does not age. Black does not crack.
Dude,
so,
I was gonna say this
yeah.
dude looks like he's like 25.
Yeah. They were doing like the little on the I think it was either the
It's that
intro or the
hip-hop
outro.
keto he keeps
yeah,
doing.
Oh, yeah,
so
that was-
cringy, very cringy,
But
very
it
cringy.
was great.
I
But, like, when
swore
he's
that was
talking
the
to,
coolest
like-
thing when I was a kid.
Oh
too.
yeah, it's pretty cool for me. Anyways, when he was saying the line of like when I was your age to the daughter, was like you are her age.
Yeah.
So you did not age at all. Yeah, I think those were all good moments.
Yeah.
That there has to be some more. If we
Dude,
if we sit down and
I ain't
think,
I ain't yucking your yum, you know.
it's at least a go. It's at least a go, right?
Mm.
The first time it was a complete no. After I realized that it was as bad as it was at least a go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you weren't in denial anymore. Yeah.
Was there anything else in that movie that was huge? The tribute at the end, that was a huge thing, right?
sure, yeah.
Sure, that was good. I'm glad that they were able to have enough time to actually at least put that in. I think that definitely needed to be. I honestly think instead of a 30th anniversary episode, I almost think like a 30th anniversary documentary would
Like,
have
get
made
the
more
cast
sense.
together. Yeah,
That'd
yeah.
been cool.
Or like HBO did that thing with
The
Harry
Harry Potter
Potter.
thing.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Where it's
what
just
I'm thinking
like,
of.
yeah, let's
Just
just
talked about it for a while.
let's go
that was
through
actually
the-
pretty
because
interesting.
really you have to YouTube a bunch of people through a bunch of different interviews where they've talked about it. But the fact that it's not going anywhere, that there's still plans to make movies and stuff like that.
Is your
I
show
think-
currently going on or?
Yeah, they're still doing like their like Cartoon Network or whatever version of it.
Mhm.
And it's starting to do like multiple seasons of like the same cast
Okay.
again.
This is of Power Rangers. The current
Yeah,
Power
it's like
Rangers?
its super mega ninja steel
Okay.
version or
So
whatever.
I dipped out a little while ago. I could
Yeah.
probably go through every season that I ended up watching. I probably went
Dang.
through. How many seasons do you think there are?
I mean, I think there's been one.
One every year.
I want to say we're like on like 25.
Okay.
Like I think there was a few years,
3 seasons of the first one for sure.
you know, where
I probably watched maybe half or over that.
and then like Saban like sold to someone and then Saban bought it back. And at one point it was totally going to be Marvel. And I want to say like Stan Lee was like,
Nah, we good.
meh.
It's a no for me.
Yeah, or maybe Stanley was for it. There was some weird like Marvel connection where like because the
They were-
Japanese, there's like Japanese like whatever the
Sentai.
yeah. There's already shows like Power Rangers, but then they like like this was totally not an American thing. It was
Sure.
just we called it Power Rangers.
Yeah, so all the
So it
action
started in
scenes
Japan
in
kinda
the
first.
original
Yeah.
ones are all cut from like the Japanese, and then
Got
they just
it.
like dub over.
Eventually, yeah, it
Oh,
came
okay.
over.
And so we didn't know that as kids or anything like that.
And so that was they were trying to figure out who like on the American side could like take
Own it,
care of that. And then I think Saban just out of somewhere came, but I don't know who owns Saban. Maybe Saban's by
I think it's
himself
his
now.
own thing. Cause like I remember, So I remember a while ago, there was like a fan made, like 10-minute like hardcore version of like Power Rangers, and like the Saban guy like comes
Or
in
Saban,
like takes out.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Yeah.
No, good. No,
I
good
got you.
correction. Yeah.
And like he like shut it down. Like he's apparently like super strict on rights. That's like all I know.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
I think so.
Yeah.
Haim Saban, I think is his name. I don't know why. I just remembered that. A lot of McDonald's action figures and Happy Meals and stuff like that.
Well, and I think that's why, like, even Jason David Frank, for all of the love that he's given the Power Ranger, like his White Dragon thing couldn't probably be licensed under the Power Rangers.
It's, weird.
Because
legal
maybe
stuff.
he would taint it by making them like, you know, I can punch you through your chest and like rip your heart out. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you can do that now.
Yo,
like,
those putties in this movie though threw somebody off a building.
well, yeah.
They got a little
murdered
intense.
people.
Yeah, like we'll push the
Did
envelope
they,
a little
though?
bit.
That deserves
tried
at least
to.
to go.
Yeah,
That deserves at least to go.
someone's going down a building.
I don't know. Without like a
crazy.
Zordon, without some of these, I think there were just. It felt like it was missing pieces that it
missed
could
that.
have waited to figure out how to get it
Yeah.
in here, and that could have just made it more polished.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Oh, whatever.
See, but I like the the 2017 Power Rangers. We did this episode.
Okay.
I thought that was great.
That movie
I love
slaps.
that movie.
Yeah.
it's an all-timer.
yeah.
Like
I
that's-
enjoyed it.
That's like ideal for me. What Power Rangers could be, but like,
And it leaned in
and it leaned into the camp,
to what it needed to, but it
but it was also like
They
Breakfast Club
changed
kind
enough
of
to
like
be able to make. Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
like I thought that worked really well.
Yeah.
and it wasn't like overly violent. They still did the putties as
Mm-hmm.
like these whatever
They
rock
had my boy
monsters.
Goldar in there. Goldar used to
Yeah.
freak me out as a kid.
Elizabeth Banks was interesting as a cast for Rita Repulsa, but like whatever.
Yeah, I think
Who
honestly,
cares?
like
She leaned into it.
yeah, I think the whole Rita and Goldar stuff of that movie, kinda
Goldar
hampers
being
it.
just literally gold was
Yeah.
wild, but
Yeah.
whatever.
But anyways, that's a different. Go check out our review. Of
Dude,
Power
love
Rangers.
2017
Nice
Power
plug.
Rangers.
Yeah.
Nice plug.
But so I have a soft spot in a sense for Power Rangers, but
Yeah,
no, it's not
This
that
was
soft.
really
It's not
bad.
that soft.
I get you.
So, but again, like this is exactly what it was supposed to be.
That's fair.
It was just made for Andrew.
For half of me, I
Yeah,
had to watch
for-
it twice. I had
yeah,
to
yeah,
watch it
yeah,
twice.
yeah.
Okay, well, in 10 years from now, when they make Netflix special
40th.
again, we'll have to all come back and be like, are we still doing this?
We still
They
go.
gotta
Not
behind the
us
scenes this
United.
time.
Yeah.
Dude, if Not Us United
it's
is still a podcast 10 years from now,
yeah, and there's a Power Rangers.
we're
movie.
probably making millions by this.
Oh,
So,
at this
You're also
point.
not going to be that old. Like you were talking, like you're
Yeah.
using a cane and
no, that's true, yeah.
on
Yeah.
heart pills.
Yeah, what would I be? I'd be 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Andrew, we will find you wherever you're at 10 years from now.
Let's get it.
And we're gonna. David Yost is coming back, and he will be using a cane in this one. It
He's
won't be
gonna-
a staff.
He's probably
from
going to
Billy
come find
Crystal.
us.
No,
He
David
is,
Yost as a human being, God bless him. Like, great guy.
Yeah.
But hey, he's not gonna win, you know, an Emmy for this.
Sure.
Let's just say it that way. You know?
Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts on Power Rangers? Anything you wanna while the people are listening?
Come catch these hands.
Oh
Yeah,
jeez. Okay.
You don't like this movie?
Just when I finally think. Okay.
Come catch these. No, I love Power Rangers. I grew up with it.
Yeah.
I
This
came out
doesn't
in
hurt your love?
1993. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I was happy to see all of them. What I probably watched from Mighty Morphin through at least Dino Thunder, and maybe a couple things after
E.T..
that. So
It's a good era.
I probably stopped watching maybe right as high school started. So like decades of Power Rangers. So this does not hurt my love for it at all.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot better.
Sure.
But then it would not have been Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Michael, anything?
No.
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 This Halloween,
Power
suits?
Rangers?
Yeah, Power Rangers.
Sick.
You doing
Is
this?
there an orange one?
I need to get Darcy
can
one
combine
that
some
she
stuff.
like
Nice.
starts off as a small ranger, but then can morph into the big one.
there
Remember
you
how
go,
that
there
kid
you
could like
go,
grow
Justin.
into the?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Hey, I go
yeah.
deep into Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this on one of the other
What?
ones. There's a kid who actually gets the ability to be a Power Ranger,
Okay.
but he's 10, and so when he morphs, he grows into like
He's
an
like a full
adult
adult.
man
It's like Shazam
size.
kind of thing?
Yeah,
Okay,
Shazam.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I know we're wrapping down, but
Yeah, it's
two
fine.
things
bring
that
it.
involve what you just brought up. One, Rocky, who was the Red Ranger that they brought in there,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
the kind of beefy dude, who somehow gets like super skinny whenever he morphs. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't
He's got a
make
good
any
stunt
sense.
double. He's got a good stunt
It's
double.
not the same dude at all, right? So that dude in the movie ends up getting, I think in the Turbo movie, ends up getting hurt, right? So he's trying to perform like the special like roundhouse kick or something like that, which is why they made that joke in the movie where they're like, "Oh yeah, you finally got that rotation on that kick." And he was like,
Nice.
"Oh, I never." So dude like broke his back. And so wasn't able to compete in a martial arts competition since he got hurt, and that little kid ended up replacing him.
There's one that can grow.
Yes, the
yeah.
kid was like 10 years old. He was like this short, and then every time that he morphed, like just grew like
Stunt
crazy.
actor.
Yeah,
Which,
it was
you know,
great.
like, sounds super stupid because it is. But
Also
It
as
made
a
me believe
kid,
that I could believe.
Yeah.
as a kid, dude, that
No,
was
it's super
legit.
cool. I mean, like comic books.
All
are
the
stupid
imaginary
and
fights we
crazy.
then had after that, where it's like it's morphin time, and then you'd be like, like I got the mushroom, I'm like leveled up.
Yeah.
Super
Crazy.
cool. Dude, Power Rangers, man. This does not taint its legacy at all because it honestly like stayed
stayed
true.
true.
So, but you know what? Nodus United thinks it's a no overall.
It's a no-go. No.
It's a
There you
no-go
go.
no.
Yeah.
There you go.
But what can we ask more from these Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Nothing.
You know, so
Nothing else.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think anyone's listened to a review on this, but now you have listened to us, not
Not
us
us
United. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Do you think this is the most obscure thing we've ever talked about?
No, it's still Power Rangers.
Cocaine Bear.
We never talked about.
Honestly,
Cocaine
like
Bear.
everything everywhere all at once before the Oscars was probably the most obscure
No.
thing we ever reviewed.
Still haven't watched that
Overpower.
yet.
I don't know. I don't know.
Over Power Rangers? Power Rangers is not niche.
No one I know is gonna watch this.
No, well, okay, this specific
I'm talking
special,
about- yes. This special is the most niche
probably
thing.
Teen Wolf movie.
That's
It's
actually-
probably
that's true.
lower.
That's
I didn't
true.
know there was a movie for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Teen
Yeah,
Wolf
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
I'm going with more.
Yeah.
So,
So we watch bad stuff, anyways.
because
This
it's at
movie
least
was
on
trash.
Netflix, you know.
That's true.
Paramount Plus was like Teen Wolf movies. Like, ain't nobody got Paramount Plus.
Facts.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. You've just listened to Not Us United. You can find us under Not Us United on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Please leave us a review and consider subscribing to our podcast. You can reach out for future podcast topic suggestions at notusunitedpod